Hello students, welcome to Academic Aura. Today we begin with exercise 2 for standard 6th. Okay, this is on page number 16 and 17 of your new textbook. Now see the question, choose the correct option. A complete angle contains dash right angles. Okay, first of all, a complete angle measures how much? 360 degrees. Okay, I'm doing it here, see here. A complete angle measures 360 degrees. And one right angle measures how much? One right angle measures 90 degrees. So we can divide this 0 and this 0 you can cut. 9 ones are 9, 9 fours are 36. You can do this way or you can divide 360 divided by 90. Okay, complete angle is how much? 360 degrees. And the measure of one right angle is 90 degrees. Okay, so 90 ones are 90, 90 fours are, okay, see here, this if you cut this, reduce this 0, 90 ones are 90, 90 fours are 360. Okay, 90 fours are 360. So what you get over here? 4. So a complete angle contains 4 right angles. Okay, if a straight angle is divided into 3 equal parts, each resulting angle will be dash. Okay, now see here, a straight angle we know it measures 90 degrees. Okay, a straight angle measures 180 degrees. A straight angle measures 180 degrees. Okay, so same way, see here, straight angle is measuring 180 degrees, right? Now divide it into 3 equal parts. So what we will do is we will divide it by 3 over here. So 3 ones are 3, 3 6 are 18 and this 0. Otherwise you can also divide it 180 divided by 180. Straight angle is 180 and you have to divide it into 3 parts. So you divide it with 3. 3 6 are 18 and then bring this 0 down. 3 zeros are 0. That means each resulting angle will be 60 degrees. 60 degrees is what? Which angle is 60 degrees? 60 degrees means acute angle. Understood? So each resulting angle will be acute angle. Now the starting point of the ray OP and ray OQ. Okay, the starting point of ray OP and OQ. Now suppose if you draw the ray over here. Okay, this is OP and ray OQ. Okay, ray OP and OQ is starting point. What is the starting point over here? This, the vertex here, this is called from where you begin. So this is called the starting point. So the starting point will be O. It cannot be P, we cannot read it from here, it cannot be Q, it cannot be P and Q. Okay, so this is the starting point here. Where the two sides are joined, that is called the starting point here. So the starting point of the ray OP is O and ray OQ is also O. Understood the third one? Now see, we have matched the pairs. Now in the previous practice set, I have already explained what is straight angle, complete angle, reflex angle, right angle and obtuse angle. So see the first one over here, 91 degree. What is 91 degree? 91 is more than 90. Understood? 91 is more than 90. So when we have an angle more than 90 but less than 180 is called obtuse angle. See the next one, 180 degrees. Now 180 degrees means straight angle. What is the straight angle measurement? 180 degrees. So 180 will be straight angle. The next one, 360 degrees. 360 is complete angle. Okay, a complete angle measures 360 degrees. See the fourth one, 215. Now 215 you cannot take it in obtuse, okay, because it is more than 180. Obtuse is more than 90 but less than 180. More than 180, if it is more than 180 and less than 360, it will be a reflex angle. So more than 180, reflex angle. See the fifth one, 90 degrees. 90 degrees will be what? 90 degrees is right angle. You can also have, they can give you 0 degree, 0 angle. Understood? So we have finished here the second part. Now see the third part. Write the answers by looking at the figure. Now see here, for the question number 3, I have made the figure over here. Okay, I have made this figure over here for question number 3. Okay, this is the figure. So for these questions, we will refer to this figure over here on the right hand side, on my right hand side. Now write the names of all the rays in the figure. Now see, we know what is a ray. Okay, like suppose see, the rays, you have a point over here, okay, beginning, and then you have an arrow, means the you can make the line endlessly, okay, infinitely you can extend it. So this is called beginning point, the starting point, and then you can put an arrow over here. So that is the ray. Okay, so you have to see this figure, name all the rays. So here we have ray. If you see here, now see, for ray we cannot name it with AD. Okay, you cannot name it from this side. You have to name from the starting point. Okay, the starting point is here, the point is over here. So the starting point of the ray will be AD. Sorry, not AD, DA. AD is wrong. If you cannot name it for a ray, you cannot name it AD. You have to name it DA. So first see, ray DA, ray DA, DA. Then you can name it as ray EB, EC. You can name all the rays over here because they have told you all the rays. Okay, so first we took DA, EB, EC, ray EB, ray EC, then ray EQ, EF, ray EQ, ray EF, okay, and ray EP, okay, ray EP, ray EP. Understood? So we are getting, see here, the starting point. We have to take for the ray, we have to first take the starting point. AD, EB, EC, EQ, EF, EP. So we have written the names of all the rays. Now see the second one, on which line point E is located. Now see here, point E. Here you can see there is point E. On which line it is located? You can say it is located on line CF, and E is also located on PQ. Understood? On both the lines. So E is on both the lines, line CF and line PQ. So on which point, on which line point E is located? So point E, you can write it in full form, full sentence. Point E is located on line CF and line PQ. Okay, understood the second one? Now see the third one. Write the names of the line segments in the figure. Okay, line segments we have, see here, line segments, we have points at both the ends like that. This is a line segment. So line segments we have points. For ray, starting with a point and then there is an arrow over here. We have points at both the ends. So we can, there are many line segments you can find out over here. Suppose here, DE, segment DE. Since it is line segment, we will write segment DE. Then you can also write the segment AD. Here we can take it as AD. Okay, AD, BE, CE, EF. So there are many. So you can take DE, segment BE, segment AD, segment CE, segment EQ. You can also take this line segment EQ, EQ. Understood? So these are all the names of line segments. Segment DE, BE, AD, CE and EQ. Now see the next one. Write the names of the rays. Write the names of the rays whose starting point is E. Okay, we have to write the names only of the starting point. Earlier also we wrote the names of the rays, but it was not given that we want the starting point E. they had given you, write all the names of the rays, all names. Here they have only said that the starting point has to be E. Now here we cannot take DA because we don't want D as the starting point. We want only E. Okay. So we will say ray EB, ray EC, ray EQ, ray EF, ray EP. Understood? So only we want the starting point as E. So here we will say ray EB, EC, EB, ray EC, EB and EC we took. Now EQ, EF, EQ, EF, EQ, EF we took, and ray EP. Understood? So this is how we write the names of rays starting with the starting point with E. Now see the fifth one in this, in the third part. What type of angle is BEQ? Now see here, BEQ is what type of angle? You can see here what is it? Here we can see that it is more than 90. BEQ is forming an obtuse angle because you can see that it is more than 90. Okay, see this BEQ. It is more than 90 degrees. So what type of angle it is? So we will say that angle, put the angle sign here, symbol for that. Angle BEQ is an obtuse angle. Okay, BEQ is an obtuse angle. Now write the names of its sides. Write the names of its sides means its arms. Okay, the two arms we have to write the names. So which are the two arms of BEQ? EB and EQ. Understood? So second question over here is write the names of its side. So we can write segment EB and EQ, or you can also write side EB and segment EQ. Okay, these are the two sides, or they can also ask you write the two arms of the, which are the two arms of the angle. So these are the two arms, EB and EQ. Understood? Now see the fourth question, that the figure I have drawn over here. Okay, below. See the fourth question. Here, write the names and types of the angles in the diagram. Okay, we have to write the names of the angles, and also we have to write and the type, which type it is. Now see, if you observe the figure, POQ is in 90 degrees, but you can see that it is more than 90 degrees, right? So POQ will be, first you write angle POQ. So POQ is equal to how much? 90 degrees. So it is which angle? We just have to write the names and then we have to write which type it is. So POQ is forming an obtuse angle. Understood? Same way, POS is also an obtuse angle. It is more than 90. Next, SOR. Now SOR also is a, if you take SOR is also obtuse angle. Next, ROQ. Now ROQ looks less than 90. Okay, it is less than 90. So we will say that it is an acute angle. That is ROQ is an acute angle. Understood? One more we can take here. We took POS, SOQ. Okay, we can also take SOQ. SOQ was also an obtuse angle. Okay, SOQ. So SOQ is also an obtuse angle here. Understood? So we have to just write the name of the angle and then you have to state which type of angle it is. Understood? So here we have finished this practice set 2. Okay, if you find this video helpful, please do like, share and subscribe. Thank you.